Hi guys, welcome back to more history content with me. In today's video, we are going to be looking at the princess who almost became Queen of Great Britain and Ireland. We are looking at the life of Sophia of Hanover, and she was one of the Protestant heir presumptives to take the throne of Scotland and England. If she had not died 2 months before, she would have become queen. But this is really sad, to be honest, but she died at an older age. And just a disclaimer, to not be confused with Sophia Charlotte of Hanover, Sophia's only daughter, or Sophia Dorothy of Hanover, her granddaughter, because some people get confused with them two names. But in this video, we're just exploring Sophia of Hanover. How did she become heiress presumptive, and how much she wanted to become queen. Sophia of Hanover. And also, I have done my own research on Sophia of Hanover, and if I pronounce things wrong, please correct me, because I'm really bad at pronouncing stuff because it's in German or something. Sophia, born as Princess Sophia of the Palatinate, was born on the 14th of October, 1630, until she died on the 8th of June, 1714. Was Electress of Hanover from the 19th of December 1692 until the 23rd of January 1698 as the consort of Prince Elector Ernest Augustus. She was later the heiress presumptive to the thrones of England and Scotland, later Great Britain and Ireland, under the Act of Settlement 1701 as a granddaughter of King James VI and I. Sophia died less than 2 months before she would have become Queen of Great Britain and Ireland. Conquestedly, her son George I succeeded her first cousin once removed, Queen Anne, to the British throne. The succession to the throne has since been composed entirely of and legally defined as Sophia's legitimate and Protestant descendants. Her portrait was painted by Gerard van Hostrost, painted in 1650. Electress Consort of Hanover. Her tenure was from the 19th of December, 1692, until the 23rd of January, 1698. Duchess Consort of Brunswick-Lüneburg. That means another word for Hanover again. Her tenure was from the 18th of December, 1679, until the 23rd of January, 1698. She was born as Princess Sophia of the Palatinate on the 14th of October, 1630, in the Hague in the Dutch Republic, which is basically in the Netherlands. She died on the 8th of June, 1714, at the age of 83, in Herceminian Gardens in Hanover. She was buried on the 9th of June, 1714, in Lena Palace in Hanover, but her body was moved in Herceminian Palace in Hanover in 1957. She married Ernest Augustus, Elector of Hanover, the younger brother of George William of Celle. They married in 1650, but were married for 40 years until he died in 1698. They had 7 children who all survived to adulthood. Her house is Palatinate Cimmerian, which is a candidate branch of Wisselsbach. Her father is Frederick V, Elector Plantine, and her mother is Elizabeth Stuart. Her religion is Calvinism. Sophia was born in the Hague to Frederick V, formerly Elector Plantine and King of Bohemia, and Elizabeth, daughter of King James VI and I. She grew up in the Dutch Republic, where her family had sought refuge after the syncretization of their electorate during the 30 Years' War. Sophia's brother, Charles Louis, was restored as elector in the Palatinate as part of the Peace of Westphalia. During this time, the English Stuarts also went into exile, and Sophia was courted by her cousin, Charles II of England. Sophia instead married Prince Ernest Augustus, her third cousin, in 1658. Despite his temper and frequent absences, Sophia loved him and bore him 7 children who survived to adulthood. Born a landless candidate, Ernest Augustus succeeded in having the House of Hanover raised to electoral dignity in 1692. As a result, Princess Sophia became Electress of Hanover, the title by which she is best remembered. A patron of the arts, Sophia commissioned her Samnium Palace and its gardens and sponsored philosophers such as Gottfried Leibniz and John Toland. Let's look at her early life. Sophia dressed as an indigenous American. It was painted by her sister around 1644. Louise Hollandine of the Palatinate. The 12th child and 5th daughter of Frederick V of the Palatinate and Elizabeth Stuart, also known as the Winter King and Queen of Bohemia, for their short rule in that country. Sophia was born in the Westerhof in the Hague in the Dutch Republic, where her parents had fled into exile after the Battle of White Mountain. Through her mother, she was the granddaughter of James VI and I, King of Scotland and England in a personal union. At birth, Sophia was granted an honorary of 40 thalers by the estates of Friesland. Sophia was courted by her first cousin, Charles II of England, but she rebuffed his advances as she thought he was using her in order to get money from her mother's supporter, Lord William Craven. Let's look at her marriage. Sophia, Princess Palatine and Electress of Brunswick-Lüneburg, also known as Hanover. Before her marriage, Sophia, as the daughter of Frederick V, Elector Palatine of the Rhine, was referred to as Sophie, Princess Palatine of the Rhine, or as Sophia of the Palatinate. The electors of the Palatinate were the Calvinist senior branch of House of Wittelsbach, whose Catholic branch ruled the electorate of Bavaria. On the 30th of September 1658, she married Ernest Augustus, Duke of Brunswick-Lüneburg and Hindenburg, who in 1692 became the first elector of Hanover. Ernest Augustus was a second cousin of Sophia's mother, Elizabeth Stuart, Queen of Bohemia, as they were both great-grandchildren of Christian III of Denmark. Sophia became a friend and admirer of Gottfried Leibniz while he was librarian at the court of Hanover. Their friendship lasted from 1676 until her death in 1714. This friendship resulted in a substantial correspondence first published in the 19th century, Kellop, 1973, that reveals Sophia to have been a woman of expectational intellectual ability and curiosity. She was well read in the works of René Descartes and Brunach Spinoza. Together with Ernest Augustus, she greatly improved the Herculaneum Palace, and she was the guiding spirit in the creation of the Herculaneum Gardens surrounding the palace where she died. In 1680, during her husband's another long visit to Italy, Sophia wrote her memoirs on her first 50 years of life. Her issue: Sophia had 7 children who reached adulthood. Electress Sophia and her daughter. George I of Great Britain, born in 1660, Frederick Augustus, born in 1661, Maximilian William of Brunswick-Lüneburg, born in 1666, Sophia Charlotte, Queen in Prussia, born in 1668, Charles Philip of Brunswick-Lüneburg, born in 1669, Christian Henry of Brunswick-Lüneburg, born in 1671, and Ernest Augustus of Brunswick-Lüneburg, Duke of York and Amblay, born in 1674. 3 of her sons were killed in battle. Sophia was absent for almost a year, from 1664 to 65, during a long holiday with Ernest Augustus in Italy. She corresponded regularly with her son's governess and took a great interest in her son's upbringing, even more so on her return. After Sophia's tour, she bore Ernest Augustus another 4 sons and a daughter. In her letters, Sophia describes her eldest son as a responsible, conscientious child who set an example to his younger brothers and sister. Sophia was at first against the marriage of her son George and Sophia Dorothea of Celle, looking down on Sophia Dorothea's mother, Eleanor Dismira de Obluce, who was not of royal birth and to whom Sophia referred as mouse dirt mixed among the pepper. And concerned by Sophia Dorothea's legitimate status, but was eventually won over by the financial advantages inherent in the marriage. Ernest Presumptive. In 1700, Sophia met her cousin, King William III of England, at Heatloo Palace in Ameldron, the Netherlands. This happened 2 months after the death of his nephew, Prince William, Duke of Gloucester, son of the future Queen Anne. By this time, given the allying William III's reluctance to remarry, the inclusion of Sophia in the line of succession was becoming more likely, because she was a Protestant as well as her son. Her candidature was allied by the fact that she had grown up in the Netherlands close to William III and was able to converse fluently with him in Dutch, his native tongue. Sophia, as Dowager Electress of Hanover, around the time she was proclaimed heir presumptive of the British crown. A year later, a year after their meeting, the Parliament of England passed the Act of Settlement 1701, which declared that in the event of no illegitimate issue from Anne or William III, the crowns of England and Ireland were to settle upon the most excellent Princess Sophia, Electress and Duchess Dowager of Hanover, and the heirs of her body being Protestant, Scotland being a separate state in international law at the time. This did not mean she would also succeed Anne as Queen of Scotland, which led to a succession crisis and eventually to the Treaty of Union between Scotland and England in 1706/7. The key excerpt from the Act naming Sophia as heir presumptive reads, this is a bit too long, but yeah, this is gonna be fun. Therefore, for a further provision of the succession of the crown in the Protestant line, we, your majesty's most dutiful and loyal subjects, the Lord Spiritual and Lord Temporal and Commons in this present Parliament assembled, do beseech you majesty, that it may be enacted and declared, and it be extanted and declared by the king's most excellent majesty, by and with the advice and consent of the Lords Spiritual and Temporal and Commons in this present Parliament assembled, and by the authority of the same, that the most excellent Princess Sophia Electress and Duchess Dowager of Hanover, daughter of the most excellent Princess Elizabeth, late Queen of Bohemia, daughter of our late Sovereign Lord King James the First of happy memory to be and is hereby declared to be the next in succession in the Protestant line to the imperial crown and dignity for the foresaid realms of England, France, and Ireland, with the dominions and territories thereunto belonging after his majesty and the Princess Anne of Denmark, and in default of issue of the said Princess Anne and of his majesty respectively. Sophia was made next in line to cut off a claim by the Roman Catholic James Francis Edward Stuart, who would have become James III and VIII, and to deny the throne to the many other Roman Catholics and spouses of Roman Catholics who had held a claim. The Act restricts the British throne to the Protestant heirs of Sophia of Hanover, who had never been Roman Catholic or married a Roman Catholic. In 1711, the General Assembly of the Church of Scotland recommended that its congregations pray regularly for the Princess Sophia, Electress and Duchess Dowager of Hanover, and the Protestant line in that family, upon whom the succession to the crown of these dominions is by law established. Some British politicians attempted several times to bring Sophia to England in order to enable her to assume a government immediately in the event of Anne's death. It was argued that such a course was necessary to ensure Sophia's succession, for Anne's Roman Catholic half-brother was significantly closer to London than was Sophia. The electress was eager to move to London, but the proposal was denied, as such action would mortally offend Anne, who was strongly opposed to a rival court in her kingdom. Anne might have been aware that Sophia, who was active and lively despite her old age, could cut a better figure than herself. Sophia was completely uncertain of what would happen after Anne's death, saying, "What Parliament does one day, it undoes the next." When the law was passed in mid-1701, Sophia, at age 70, 5 of her children from ages 35 to 41, and 3 legitimate grandchildren from ages 14 to 18 were alive. Although Sophia was 35 years older than Anne, she was very fit and healthy and invested time and energy in securing the succession either for herself or her son. There are more than 5,000 illegitimate descendants of Sophia, although not all in the line of succession. The Sophia Naturalization Act 1705, 4 and 5 and around 16, guaranteed the right of British, or more correctly English, as Great Britain only came into existence in 1707. Nationally, to Sophia's non-Roman Catholic descendants, those who had obtained the right to British citizenship via this act at any time before its repeal by the British Nationality Act 1948 retained this lawful right today. Now let's look at her death and legacy. The Summer Palace of Herculaneum and the Great Garden around 1708. And then this is this place that she was buried. Although considerably older than Queen Anne, Sophia enjoyed much better health. According to the Countess of Bracklenburg, in a letter to Sophia's niece, the Ragamuffin Louis, on the 5th of June 1714, Sophia felt ill after receiving an angry letter from Queen Anne. 3 days later, on the 8th of June, she was walking in the gardens of Herculaneum when she ran to shelter from a sudden downpour of rain and collapsed and died in the arms of her granddaughter-in-law, Caroline of Ansbach. By the way, she was the wife of George II of Great Britain. Electoral Princess of Hanover. Let's redo that. When she ran to shelter from a sudden downpour of rain and collapsed and died in the arms of her granddaughter-in-law, Caroline of Ansbach, Electoral Princess of Hanover. Sophia was 83, a very advanced age for the era. Queen Anne died less than 2 months later on the 1st of August, 1714, at the age of 49. Had Sophia survived Anne, she would have been the oldest person to ascend the British throne. Upon Sophia's death, her eldest son, Elector George Louis of Hanover, born in 1660 to 1727, became heir presumptive in her place and within 2 months succeeded Anne as George I of Great Britain. Sophia's daughter, Sophia Charlotte of Hanover, born in 1668 to 1705, married Frederick I of Prussia, from whom the later Prussian and German monarchs descended. Sophia was buried in the chapel of Lenin Palace in Hanover, as were her husband and their son George I. After the destruction of the palace and its chapel during World War II by Allied air raids, their remains were moved into the mausoleum of King Ernest Augustus I in the Barkington of Herculaneum Gardens in 1957. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more history content.